not a good thing to look at. Hello. Hey. It's your favourite AUBSU, the one and only AUBSU.
I don't know what I'm doing this time.
So we're here today and we're going to talk to you about some self-care tips.
Yes.
As part of Small Things Matter.
Yes.
So did you want to...
Oh,
Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you not know who I am?
This is...
Alright, so hi guys, I'm Jordan, I'm the president of the Students' Union.
Hi guys, I'm Stella, I'm the vice president of the Students' Union.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah, I work at the SU, I'm the assistant here and I'm behind all the Small Things Matter stuff.
Woo!
Small Things Matter champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so today we're just going to talk to you about self-care, give you some tips and get some tips from you guys. But I think before we begin, Hannah's just going to go through and explain what self-care actually means.
Yes, we could do a bit of that. So we have just finished November and it's all been about connecting.
Mm-hmm.
And December, to kick us off, we thought we'd do a live stream with you guys and really we want to hear from you about what you think is good for self-care. So December is all about self-care. So as a little mini intro, self-care is all about what works for you. So it's all about personalising your own care for yourself, and part of that is being confident with what you know works for you, and it might not work for your friends, it might not work for someone else, but it's what works for you. So that would probably be the main thing that we would say, that we want you to feel more confident after this live stream, more confident after using the journal and getting to know yourself better. Self-care is your physical, your emotional and your mental health. It's looking after all of those aspects, and most of all it's believing that you are worth looking after, that actually when you look after yourself better you can be a better friend, you can be a better student, you can do all the other things that you want to do. So it's actually not selfish, it's essential to
Those people around
everyone else
you.
around you as well. So it's not feeling that is selfish, which is quite a big thing to address.
For sure.
Yeah.
Also, just before we go in sharing some tips, we just want to say a massive thank you to all of you that have taken part in Small Things Matter since October.
Yesterday as well.
Yeah, and
dogs.
yesterday. So we had dogs on campus yesterday, which you guys were very excited about, and so were we.
Yes.
Let's be honest. We all love a good dog. Also, what are all the things we've done? So we've done cactus repotting that we did in October.
Yep, we did boxes for connecting, so giving away little recipes.
Baking
boxes.
recipes, we've done a give it a go quiz to just work out what kind of physical activity would suit you. So we've got Joss going to jump in on that later and talk a bit more about that and just how to keep physical over winter, which is really hard when it's raining all the time. And then you guys are going to share with us a bit about how to just do self-care over Christmas when there's still deadlines and things hanging over you, and also we're just aware that sometimes you go from being at uni and you've just settled and then you're about to go back home and it's like in two places, it can be quite tricky, so we thought we'd chat about that a bit as well, if that would be helpful.
I think so. So yes, big thank you to all of you that have taken part, and thank you guys for tuning in. So shall we...
We want to hear all your questions. And we want to hear your tips as well about self-care. So lots of self-care tips from you. And if you have any questions in particular about self-care.
Yes. So we're going to run through some self-care tips that Hannah's very kindly put together.
These are all from your SU staff team and also from the student service counsellors, actually. Some of them are as well. So we kind of had asked them about what they thought. So they're very wise. So we've got some good tips here.
Yeah, it's very open, isn't it? Because you're getting like feedback or tips from different kinds of people and what they experience, and you can just adapt and apply it to yourself. Yeah, depending on what works for you.
Yeah, and let us know what works for you. You can tell us what you guys exercise. If you guys have like a certain skincare routine that you exercise in the evenings, like before you go to bed, and that's like your thing, things like that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you wanna?
Should we kick off?
You kick off, Stella. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Off you go. So the first one I've got is: pick your top songs and sing them at the top of your voice with friends, or when the house is empty, or while you're in the shower. So I think everyone does a little bit of that somehow.
I definitely do it in the shower. That definitely happens.
Have you heard that?
I do it
I'm not sure if our neighbours appreciate it.
when the house is empty and you feel like the house is your stage. But yeah, I think that's a really good tip. I think it's just about feeling, as you said, super comfortable, super relaxed in your own space and your own skin, and that is part of it. Just feeling like you can do whatever you want without any restrictions or anyone sort of like looking at you or judging you in any way.
Definitely.
So I really like that one.
Singing is so good for you as well. It's proven to be good for your well-being. So singing is really good.
Sing.
Sing, always.
Cool. Do you guys want to?
Go on, Jordan. You go.
Not me? Okay, cool. Right, this is something that I definitely like to do, which I haven't done in a long time. So walk along the beach, our wonderful natural local environment, twice a week, and watch the water, the waves, delight the sand and the people. Also, just to add to that, also the dogs. So if you are missing your dog and you have a dog at home that isn't here, go and pet someone else's on the beach.
Yeah.
Definitely
Go
just
for a walk where there will be dogs.
That is true.
So yeah, walking on the beach is usually it's really calming. It's really relaxing.
Yeah.
And I think watching the waves is also it's like quite hypnotic.
Yeah.
I think there's something about like going to the beach in winter as well. Like people think it's cold and stuff, but if you wrap up warm, bring like a flask with a hot drink and stuff, and you can like make it super comfortable and super like adapt to the weather as well.
Do people know how to get to the beach from here? Like, do people know from where they live? Is it easy to get the bus?
From the university, there's the direct bus to the square. That's the 17.
Yeah.
So that's like direct to the square, and then you can just walk through the gardens to the beach.
Yeah.
And then if you're like close to Madeira and stuff,
yeah, the
you can
gardens
walk,
are super nice.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do all the sightseeing and looking at other things as well as you walk there.
I think as well there's something about the sea and that kind of like perspective that you get with the sea because you have space to look. I think that really does something as well, just to lift your head when you need it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your mind feels crowded.
Yeah. Being outside is good. So this is the same sort of thing, being outside, but if you're maybe struggling to actually get out of your house or you're feeling a bit anxious, this could be a good way to get out. So it's to make a scavenger list of 5 cool things that you want to see on your walk. Wrap up warm, like you were saying, Stella, and take a drink with you, and then like go to find those things, or like not necessarily don't finish your walk until you find them, but like just that kind of like to make you get out, make you see, like look for things that you're going to see. So that's that was quite a good tip as well. It's quite specific.
I think one thing that I would say is difficult is finding something to do without thinking that you have to spend money or like go somewhere specific. So giving yourself like little prompts, like I want to see at least 5 trees, which is so possible within the space of here to Lansdowne. But like just like give yourself prompts so that you have a reason to go out. Like that's really important, and also like cost effective because you don't have to think about spending anything or that extra planning and stuff. And it can be spontaneous as well.
Yeah,
so I
definitely.
like that a lot.
Yeah. You got another one there, Jordan?
Yeah, for sure. This is another one. I think, Stella, you do this one quite a lot, not going to lie. Having said that, if you have the energy and time, a shower is an amazing way to sneakily give yourself, some free time.
I do that.
Yeah, you do that.
I didn't. Yeah.
And it says on here it's really good for kind of, getting yourself free from distractions. Kind of, the act of cleaning is usually quite a positive experience.
I think that was part of that one. Having that. I think
so having a lighter. Oh, a lighter. Having a lighter getting ready routine for days when you're feeling tired or overwhelmed. Dry shampoo, brushing your teeth, a quick wash of your face is perfectly fine. You don't need to look perfect, but these little activities will help you physically and mentally refresh you. So it is that act of cleansing. Yeah.
It's kind of that, it's been a really long day at uni. I've been at uni all day.
Yeah.
First thing you do when you get home, right, I'm gonna have a shower, kind of get uni off of me.
Yeah.
And then I might, make some dinner.
It does really allow you to settle in. That's exactly, as you said, that's what I do. I just, it allows me to relax because showers are quite cozy and and then I give myself like the routine of getting comfortable in my own space, in my own house, and then like making a cup of tea, so it just sets you for the rest of the evening or the rest of the day or the rest of
Yeah.
the night. So
Especially where
really
a lot of people won't have a bath as well. They can't afford to like have a bath, so have a quick shower,
Have a shower.
slip into your PJs,
Yes,
and then stay in them.
Yeah. I think also on that note, when you get out of a shower and you know, put on some slippers. Some slippers go a long way. If you haven't got some slippers, get some slippers.
That's a good shout.
Stepping into the comfort. Okay, so I've got one that's kind of like a list. So hot chocolate and films, finding something creative to do, eating chocolate with a smiley face, wink wink, catching up on missed programs under the duvet, and getting all cozy and comfortable, warm soup, or doing impromptu baking. Making cookies are always a win.
I love those round food.
Yeah, I think those are really, as you said, like you can pick and choose what sort of works for you. So for me, I'm someone that likes to relax and just like chill and stuff, but sometimes we do that through baking together and like making food together, but then other times I'll just want to eat and sit and drink hot chocolate. So
I think the biscuits thing is a nice thing, especially because we made some, a couple weekends ago? We just made a batch of spiced biscuits and we've got like a little biscuit tin. And it's quite nice when you're actually filling the tin with the biscuits that you've made. And like, I'm going to have a cup of tea and I'm going to have a biscuit that I made.
Yeah. And I feel like each day tastes different. The first day it's all nice and hot and chewy. Second day is like, crunchy and spicy, like all the flavours. Yeah.
So that's really nice.
Cute.
Got enough to bake.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's quite a few other ones here. I've got lighting candles. Lava lamps or fairy lights in the evening. Even if you're not doing anything particularly special, it gives the space, you're in a really nice atmosphere rather than just being dingy and grim. And I think that is so good because like when it's so dark, isn't it? And there's something called hygge. Is that how you say it? Hygge. It's a Danish tradition. And this is how they get through the dark days and the winter months, and there's their kind of mantra, which is all about like finding joy in the moments. So part of that is like the moments of lighting a candle, the moments of having a cup of tea with your homemade biscuit, all those things that just kind of like make something just that bit nicer and just making the most of that moment. So all the hygge moments,
cool.
are really good.
Isn't it scientifically proven that winter and like, I guess like the feeling of winter does actually affect your health?
Yeah.
So people do get quite depressed or like low over winter. So like having some sort of light or comfortable spaces where you can make it bright for yourself is actually like helping with that.
It's almost like embellishing the kind of darkness. You almost say, okay, so I'm going to make this really nice then, and like make it warm and cozy and bring the light into situations that are darker.
I think with a lot of that, so I've got some friends that really don't like the low lighting of winter. So what they actually do is, where they can, the bulbs in their house, they change them to daylight bulbs. So when they're on, it feels like kind of the middle of summer, like it's got the same brightness.
That's interesting.
And it helps them with their productivity as well.
Yes.
Because they don't feel sleepy because of the lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is definitely, if you're going to bed or if you're having your wind down time, I think you've probably all heard by now that screens should be like going off an hour before we go to sleep.
Definitely.
That's the same with lights as well. So not having bright lights and going to bed, actually that's going to take you longer to wind down. So actually having the lower lights and setting that earlier gets your body and your mind into that space of I'm winding down to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
So that's another little tip there.
I think that actually leads on to this point quite nicely about sticking to a good sleep theme.
Oh, that's rude, yeah.
Sleep is massive.
So segueing over to here. So this one is about avoiding caffeine in the evening, and maybe even in the afternoon if you're someone who knows that you're particularly susceptible to caffeine. Maybe switch to water juice and decaf drinks. So you can get like decaf coffees if you like the taste of it, and you can even get decaf teas if you want that kind of cozy warm drink, but without knowing that you're going to be buzzing for the next 3 hours trying to get to sleep.
Herbal teas as well help. So chamomile is quite good for relaxing and like getting you to chill and sleep and stuff. But I know a lot of people don't
Yeah, taste wise.
Yeah.
But what would you say though, guys? People would be like, I'm living on caffeine because I need to do work and I'm constantly working and I can't get through. What, like, you know what long days at uni are like? What?
I think
what's your
rest
answer to that?
is so important. Like if you're someone, I know a lot of you guys probably do this, where you're in uni first thing, like you probably grab your coffee from Starbucks or Costa and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get to my studio, gonna crack on with some work, and then it's really easy for you guys to be at uni all day working. And then when you get home and then continue working, you're not really allowing yourself the time to kind of wind down and switch off and relax.
Yeah, and I think caffeine almost encourages that. So if you get into the habit of taking those little breaks, whether it's like having a little, I like to nap, but I know not everyone likes that, but just like kind of mentally winding down and then getting yourself back up so that you have the energy instead of just going through the entire day using up all the energy and then like gaining that from those drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
It is actually better for you to just take little breaks and tailor it to yourself and like how you work and sort of allow yourself that time.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think sometimes you can feel like if I take this small break or if I come and see dogs at lunchtime, I might not be able to get back into my work.
Yeah.
And I think that is the problem, is that you feel you're not sure of yourself. So I think trying to being disciplined about having a break and then be disciplined about I'm going to go back and do work for this amount of time.
Yeah, it is about the balance.
It does become a routine and a habit at the end of the day, because if you don't start, then you will never have that. But once you start, it gets easier.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, but that sounds good. That's really
Okay,
good.
so should I kick on to the next
Yes.
one? So making sure you have enough food in the house, long-term storage food like tins, jars, pasta, etc. So that if you don't feel like going outside in the cold or the rain to shop, you can still have a decent meal, which is...
I definitely did that yesterday.
It's a yes.
I think we've always got pasta in our cupboard, and it's just a really easy thing to kind of put on the hob and boil some water, put some sauce in, or even make your own sauce.
Yeah, I think it is easy when you're studying to just feel like, okay, I'm gonna get home late anyway, so I can just skip dinner or like get something along the way or something.
Yeah,
but
which is no.
Exactly, so it's not great for you. So I think just having that food in the cupboard and fridge and stuff, you just have that mentally in the back of your head that okay, I can just make something quick. I can boil some noodles or pasta or rice and stuff, and it's actually better, saving money as well.
Yeah, saving money. It's healthier to cook from home. We've got the casserole recipe in the journal, and then we did for Russia's we did the cooking workshop as well. So we've got the recipes for that on the website as well. So there are some tools to kind of help you, but definitely like bulk making as well.
Yeah.
And then you can freeze so much. You can freeze a lot of what you make.
Yeah.
And then even if you don't want that the same week, then you can have it another week.
Yeah.
So you can mix it up a bit.
Yeah, so there's the recipe in the journal. So a warming veggie casserole. I think it'd be a really nice thing to make with friends as well, because it makes quite a lot. So you could always invite people over and, kind of have a casserole evening.
Yeah.
It's just a good opportunity to... I think for a lot of people, definitely for me, cooking is kind of... it's a time to kind of... Because it's really methodical and it's kind of like this organised thing. And I think that's quite relaxing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if you've got like things in the fridge or you've just got some bits and pieces, just allow yourself that time to kind of cook. Put the radio on, listen to some music, put on Spotify.
Yeah, I think there is a guilt in relaxing and like taking time and just actually not doing anything. But if you're doing something like that where you feel like you're actually being practical and like still moving and stuff, but it actually relaxes you, that's actually a better way to relax in a way.
Yeah.
So I think
because it still allows your like brain to switch off
down,
because you can do the cooking and not kind of be too mentally active.
Yeah.
Like it's still quite relaxing and you can switch off. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Ooh. Thank you for whoever suggested that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to?
Do you want some more?
Yeah. Do we have
I
any?
think we got a message from Lee saying that we're looking good. Thank you very much. Hoping you've
do
been
you
well.
have any tips that you could suggest on how you basically do your self-care or maintain that self-care for yourself?
Yeah, if you guys have got some tips, let us know what you guys do at home, like what your like routine is for the evenings or the weekends.
I've got a few more here as well about just how we approach things. So not specific things, but these might kind of stir a few more thoughts as well. So the first one is about acceptance, and so sometimes you have to accept things as they are and that you can't change things. So sometimes it's just giving yourself a break from kind of fighting against things that you can't change, and just like taking that breather. So, you know, that's kind of, sometimes that's a way to approach a situation that just feels a bit much.
Yeah.
And just, you know, that acceptance. And then just that whole element of like being still, rather than being stimulated by like gadgets all the time and you know, all that kind of thing, is just finding a way to be away from those distractions. I think that's quite tough, isn't it, today, to get away from that. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on social media and like our use of our phones and stuff like that.
I think there's a lot of stuff around the idea of productivity, and I think a lot of people kind of feel like they need to be productive 24/7. Like you always have to be doing something, otherwise you might feel bad. It's kind of that conversation like, oh, I stayed up until 3 a.m. yesterday and did all this thing, and like people brag about that. It's not good. You shouldn't do that. I think, I mean, there have been definitely been occasions where I've had to stay up late because there's been pieces of work that I had to finish, but that's kind of been my own fault for leaving it to the last minute. I think we're all guilty. But it is just kind of that making sure you have time for yourself and that it's okay to actually just do nothing for an hour or two.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I think this weekend in particular, there was definitely a good couple hours where I just sat on the sofa and listened to the radio. And it's just cozy.
It is nice.
It's nice to do nothing sometimes.
Yeah, and I think the thing you said about being still, a lot of people might take the time to, I don't know, sit and relax and stuff, but that relaxation comes from screens or like their phone or like something tangible. Whereas like, as you said, that is also a contribution into some of the things that you might be experiencing. So like constantly getting information online, or like that constant wave of images and stuff coming to you, it is a lot. You might not feel it directly, but it is constantly coming through. So taking a break from your phone, which I have actually managed to do this year as well, and I approve, is really important. And I think acknowledging how much time you're spending on your phone or your screens and or like social media and stuff is also actually really important. So if you guys start thinking about that at least.
So how feasible is that though? Like what sort of times are you suggesting that people actually take a break from the phone? Because it could be 2 hours of an evening. You can set your phone to screen downtime. Downtime on your phone is the key to this. Find it in your settings.
I think what you said about not being on your screen or like watching something before bed is really important. So if you kind of tell yourself, okay, an hour or 2 hours before bed I'm not going to look at my phone, that's actually, it works in a way, because you start focusing on how you can relax and get yourself to bed better and stuff. So and it is easy to stay on your phone before bed. Like you might go to check something and then you end up being on it for an hour when you could have been resting and sleeping. So I think before bed is quite a good time.
I think also for those of you that really like reading, if it's the whole thing of I look at my phone because it's something to engage in before you go to bed. I think what happens is that when you're looking at your phone, your brain's still stimulated. So even when you put your phone down and try to get to sleep, it could take a good, half an hour, maybe longer to fall asleep. So I think what helps is that if you put the phone down and maybe pick up your favourite book or a book you've been reading and read that until you feel sleepy, because I find that books are quite good at helping you kind of wind down to sleep.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. That's good.
Cool.
Any other comments?
Have any comments?
To go back on?
Nope, no comments.
Should we just take a quick pause there and we'll swap out so that Joss, the sports assistant, can come in and give you some
we'll
specific
be right back
tips.
after these messages.
Magic. It's back.
Hey.
back with. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah. I'm Joss. If you haven't met me before, I sit in the student union as well with these guys. The class is the sports assistant, so if you want anything to do with sports, the Give It Go programme at AUB, then just come to me and we'll just have a chat and we can show you what stuff we have for the students at AUB. We've got a programme called Give It a Go. It's a social sports programme, so there's no membership fee, there's no sort of commitment to it. It really is just to get everyone out of their rooms, get them active with bring their friends along, but we've got a really good programme. We've got fencing, which is really good because that's hosted by British Fencing as well, so our coaches, they're trained up at British Fencing, and they're also acting students at AUB,
nice.
Current students, so that's always nice to go and try something new and get taught by your peers.
Yeah, and it's a safe space to kind of try something out that you haven't done before,
Yeah.
because everyone's
I've
kind of in
never
the same
tried
boat of, oh my god, I've never done this before.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's a good space to try it out and just
Yeah.
kind of have some fun with it.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got all the kit from British Fencing, so why not use it and actually have a good fun. It's an hour and a half, and that's over at the YMCA in Westover Road, Bournemouth Town Centre, on a Wednesday from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m, and that's one of our classes, but that's really popular. If you haven't gone down there, then please go down and
Give
join
it a
in.
go.
Yeah, give it a go. Yeah. So all these sessions, they're all £2. I mean, what's £2? It's the cheapest classes that I know in this area. So doesn't really break.
I mean,
the bank,
it's like
does it? So.
fencing for an hour and a half, cup of coffee. It's about the same.
Yeah, giving you an
cup of
opportunity to
coffee.
be active,
Mm.
moving.
Nowadays it's like £3.50 or something like that. So
Yeah, so it's actually
For
cheaper
teens.
to go.
yeah, it's actually
It's actually cheaper to go to
fit.
fencing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the classes.
Yeah.
I can roll on with the other ones. We've got Strength and Balance, which has been hosted by Joy. She's an external coach, yoga coach, and she's very experienced with the AUB students here. So that's on a Thursday, 5 to 6, over at the dance studio on campus. On a Thursday also in the evening is boxing, which is proving very popular as well, and that's over at Sport BU from 8 to 9 p.m. at night, and I coach that one, which is quite cool. So
Awesome.
big advocate of boxing. And we've also got Dance Fitness on Fridays now, and that's taught by the Dance Fitness Society, which is fantastic. Another student-led session, and that's on Fridays 5 to 6 in Studio 1, I think, in Sport BU. Yeah.
So plenty to get involved with.
Yeah, there's so many things for you guys to get involved with, and as you said, we make it so that it's available for you guys and cheap for you guys, and you can bring friends as well, so you don't have to feel like you have to just turn up and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No. You might think that I've sort of just jumped on and gone, right, fitness this, fitness that, but really it ties in with small things,
wellbeing
mental
so
well-being.
much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and it's just communication is important more than anything. Going out there and meeting new people, you know, and bringing your peers, and just it is a form of well-being. Just being able to talk about something different other than work, family related, you know, uni related, politics related, whatever. You know, it just completely just simmers you out almost.
Yeah.
I think it's what you were saying about it's a good chance to kind of switch off because you're doing something else.
Yeah, physical.
You're like engaging your body instead of your mind, and it's a good way to kind of forget about the stress of, you know, uni for the day. Like, you've had a big day at uni and now I'm going to go do something for myself. And it's you get to meet up with people, have a good laugh, and you kind of keep your body fit as well, which I think in winter is actually probably quite hard to do because you're not as outside as much as you would be.
It keeps you warm. It keeps that muscle, that heart muscle pumping.
Yeah, I've been to some of the sessions, and like I always feel energized after, even if I felt tired straight after uni or work or whatever. Like afterwards, I feel so good about having done it. So it does like allow you to sort of like
feel invigorated.
Yeah, invigorated.
Yeah.
So Josh, you're going to give us some tips on how to stay active over winter.
Yeah.
But before we start, we should probably mention that if you guys send in a tip on what you guys do for your own self-care, you get a chance to win a Christmas box. Box 25 from our next pop-up event, which is on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday over lunchtime. So if you guys leave us a comment, you'll be entered into the draw, and you'll be in with a chance of winning box 25, which is a surprise.
Cool. And then if you guys have one of the journals, you can also start looking into completing the priorities activities and looking at what sort of works for you, and considering all the different things that we've already spoken about, as well as physical and wellbeing, which is what you're going to sort of help us with. So make sure you're using your journal, getting kind of active with it as well. So yeah, should we jump straight into it?
Yeah, sure. So a couple of tips that I was thinking about, more so with coming out of the term. You're thinking, right, okay, now it's time to go home, and it's a different atmosphere because you're going home. You're chilling out. There's no stress. There's no uni work to have to tackle with. I know some of you probably do have some sort of work.
Yeah.
But it's that transition of the end of university life for the year, and then going back home and just slipping back and trying to unwind. It's very easy to just completely go, right, I'm just going to stay at home, I'm going to lounge on parents' sofa and
Yes.
watch TV. No, I'm guilty. We're all human, you know. I mean, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
But remember that, there are things that you can do which you probably aren't aware of doing when you're at home. So there's one thing that I've got down here, taking a walk. We were talking about taking a walk in to the beach.
Yeah.
A big thing that I'm a big fan of is, if you look it up, there's something called negative ions. So we're surrounded by a lot of technology, a lot of mechanical things and gadgets, etc., which give off positive ions. So it's quite chaotic for I guess us and our brain and stimulus. If you go near the sea or near like forests, etc., they let off negative ions which cancel out the positive ions. It's probably new to you guys.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's really
cool.
interesting.
This is where I'm from, John.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so it cancels it out, and that's why when you go for a walk, you feel invigorated. You feel actually almost quite tired because everything's just so fresh and you get good sleep afterwards. That's another thing, sleep, but we'll go into that in a moment. So I'm a big fan of just going out and taking a walk, especially amongst greenery, open spaces, etc.
So is this specific to like outdoor spaces?
It's specific to outdoor spaces, especially when you're home.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I don't know, I mean, everyone's got different experiences, but just going for a walk down memory lane. You're home, make the most of it. Go for a walk where you used to,
this is where I used
hang
to
about
play with my
and
friends
play knock down ginger back in the day. I don't know what the park you used to go to, and it just takes a couple of hours, and then it just alleviates that boredom as well, just staying indoors. And then walking's just the basic fitness that humans need to do to be able to just keep moving, I guess. Everything's so works for us nowadays. Everything's so compatible. Everything just at the touch of a button, it does things for us. So we're becoming more and more lazier in everyday life because everything's so ergonomic and made for us to just...
And I guess for a lot of people who have like pets and stuff, that's kind of the opportunity to do that, like going out for a walk and taking your dog for a walk and stuff. But also I think for a lot of people, knowing myself, like moving away from home and stuff, a lot of me going through uni and like being able to do those things were having the right people around to be able to do it with. So I think if you have people who are sort of like in the same mindset, like-minded, and want to do those things with you, going out for walks and setting up, I was going to say text friends, but yeah, you have to, setting up like little days where you can just do something with someone, makes it even better because you're not sort of lonely per se, or for some people it's better to just be alone and like be comfortable, but also like considering like, you know, you've got your pets, take a pet or dog for a walk, and then go out with friends as well.
Friends and family, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also when you get home, like when you've been so busy at uni, when you get home and suddenly, oh my god, I don't have much to do. It can be a bit of a shock, like because your productivity goes from like 110 to like 0.1.
Minus.
And it's like, I've got all this time, what do I do with myself?
Yeah.
So I think actually doing small things every day to maybe just keep active for an hour or two could help kind of stop you from feeling guilty of being like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's also important to make sure that you're having a good break over Christmas as well.
Absolutely.
But it could be really good to kind of incorporate those small things. Those little things that kind of keep you kind of active, or mentally, physically, you're going for a walk, meeting with friends.
Yeah. And then I guess my question would be, how would you go about, because obviously it's winter now, so the weather's always changing, but how do you go about sort of like navigating around that? Like, do you actually like being out in the rain, or like finding ways to sort of...
I've been up north a few winter months of the last couple of years, and it's raining all the time, and they've still got their kids hanging about in playgrounds, kicking about in the mud. Totally harmless, and obviously if you wrap up, etc. But funny you should say that, there are ways of keeping active indoors. So Christmas shopping, we go to shopping malls, shopping malls, and use the stairs. That's one thing. You know, I'm a big advocate of doing things the hard way, so using the stairs, walking around, avoiding lifts and such, and just
little things.
It is, and you know, when people say, "Oh, my feet are killing me," I only went shopping to the local Westfield, etc. It's because you're walking constantly. You don't realise you're trying to get somewhere. You're just constantly walking, plodding along, and it's just
it's the difference between being active and thinking, okay, I'm being fit by doing this particular sport, and being active in your everyday activities and stuff. People don't realise that it is actually you're doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're knackered afterwards, you know, and you're carrying shopping.
I think it's one of the tips on the slips actually. So when you're out shopping, do lots of walking and use the stairs where possible, alongside the lifts and escalators, and just choose to walk if you can.
Choose to walk, choose to walk there.
And it's like you say as well, if you do manage to get some Christmas shopping, one bonus, because that's one less thing you've got to buy for somebody. So you're getting things done, but also looking after yourself and your physical and your fitness while you're doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there are ways. Ice skating rinks are a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
They're popping up all over the place. So
Bournemouth Square.
Bournemouth Square.
Yeah.
You can just drag some friends and family along. You know, do a session. That's hard work.
Yeah.
You know, trying to keep yourself stable is probably the hardest thing that a lot of people find difficult when you go and think, oh, it's just skeeting about. No, it's not. It's about balance. It's about staying upright.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you engage quite a lot of muscles when you're trying to keep your balance as well, don't you?
Absolutely.
I think that's something I'm definitely doing this year, because I haven't done it in a few years. So.
It's been a while since I've been ice skating, so I think we're going to have to do something about that.
So that's another way. We're going to be doing that a couple of times this Christmas, and we're here in Bournemouth and then in London. They're just popping up all over the place. It's okay, albeit it's expensive, but it's Christmas, it's fun. When do you ever do ice skating?
Yeah, and I think you've given people the options of, you know, you can go for a walk or shopping.
Yes, exactly.
Or it's having those options, which is good.
And my last one doesn't cost anything. It's going on the dance floor when you're at a Christmas do.
That's sneaky.
That's the one.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
You know, it's free. You're dancing. Just let your hair down and just.
Do you know what? Dance everywhere. Someone gave us a tip on dancing in your home. You can dance at the Christmas do's. Your friends are probably gonna have some celebrations, parties before you go home. Dance there. So
do some dancing.
Dance down the road when you're talking to someone in the street.
No standing in the corner.
Does anyone else half dance / walk when they're listening to music whilst walking home?
Oh yeah.
Like the bopping.
And or swagger.
The swagger.
I feel like when I do it, I just look like a chicken. You know how chickens walk and they're like.
I feel so.
I just don't look good.
I feel great, but from the outside, it's probably like, what's wrong with that person?
That's fine. It's all good. You've got rhythm.
Yeah.
I lack rhythm. I think what I usually do is when I'm at home cooking, when I'm listening to music, you end up doing a weird thing while you're cooking, like, just gonna stir this thing 3 times this way, 3 times that way, and just like make a mess of it.
When you have music in the background, that helps. But yeah, thank you so much, Joss.
That's fine. That's no problem.
I think a lot of those I'm personally going to take on.
Yeah. And bringing it back to you guys, if you guys have got any tips that you exercise at home, for whether it's exercise or if it's exercising well-being, let us know what your top tips are and we can share those with everyone else. So because you guys can like share tips amongst yourselves.
Yeah, and remember you have a chance to win box 25, not 45, next week at our pop-up. So if you give us a tip, we can enter you into that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we'll also have some of these. So if you guys feel like getting a wellbeing journal, please do. They cost £1. And there's also a wellbeing tracker on one of the pages where you can look at how much coursework you're doing, how much time you're spending with friends, how much time you're spending on your hobbies. And this is a really good way of indicating what changes might be good to make. And one thing I will point out though is with coursework, if you're looking at your coursework and you're thinking, actually, maybe I'm not putting enough time into that, don't suddenly jump from 3 to 10. Like, it's about like doing it slowly. Like, okay, so maybe I need to put some more time into my work. Maybe I should like do an extra half an hour a day instead of just going all in like.
It's so much.
Don't cut anything out. Just kind of
break it up, especially over Christmas period. You know you still have to do work, but manage it.
And for those of you that are going to be working on your essays over Christmas, little and often. Don't like leave it to the end of the Christmas holiday because that's what I did last year, and I can promise you I was very stressed. So if you get home, or even if you manage to finish most of your essay before you go home, then that's also really good because it means you can enjoy your Christmas a bit more. And then it's just a matter of looking over it when you get back from the holidays, which could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Or just doing like spend half an hour a day on your
I would recommend doing it bit by bit. Each day have a little bit of time set aside for that, and then that way you're sort of working on it bit by bit, and it does accumulate, and by the end of it you'll be done before you know it. So
it's like if you know you're a morning person, maybe get up, have your shower, have your breakfast. And spend half an hour doing some research or some writing, and then that it's out of the way, and you've got the rest of the day to enjoy yourself. Be it going for a walk, going to an ice rink, or meeting up with some friends,
or
brucking it down on the dance floor.
But I think we're gonna wrap up. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. Thank you, Joss. Thank you, Hannah. And remember, give us a tip.
Small things matter.